You're live.
Hey, Russ, before you take off, can you hear her if we talk like this?
Say something.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
We can do it like this.
Okay, good.
All right, cool. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful day. This is Russ Johns, and this is Marketing Ideas That Work.
Wow, thanks, Russ. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm Marian LaSalle, and I have a guest here.
Yes, Michelle Gomez.
And this is Marketing Ideas That Work, and we are excited to be here. We are on iTunes, we're on YouTube, we're all over the place. We're just taking over the world. I love it.
Internet domination.
Yes, there you go. There you go. So what do we talk about here on Marketing Ideas That Work? There are so many things that we could cover. We talked a little bit earlier before you were here about all the different moving parts that a business owner has to think about. And marketing is just one of them. And there's thousands of parts to marketing. So we have to focus in every week on very specific things. So we're going to be talking to Michelle today about how she handles her marketing and her business, what's working for her, what she's tried in the past and didn't really work that great, and a little bit about her podcast, because she has a fantastic podcast as well. And so let's get started. So Michelle,
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you're here in the Houston area.
Absolutely.
And Michelle was a speaker here at Office in America. So every other week, it's actually the second and fourth Tuesday of every month here in Houston, Office in America allows us to come in and hold a networking event. And what better way to share the joy than to bring in people like Michelle who can talk about things that she's an expert at. So her talk was on
LinkedIn for business development.
Yes. LinkedIn. Now, if you probably run into a lot of people like me that we have a LinkedIn account, but we don't really do a whole lot with it, don't you?
All the time.
Yeah.
All of my clients, well, not all of them, but a lot of my clients, they definitely come up to me with LinkedIn. And I know sometimes LinkedIn is a little late to the party compared to Facebook and maybe even Instagram and some of the funner platforms. But at the end of the day, that is a professional social media site. And the reason why LinkedIn is so important is because you know your audience for certain, because they should have their job title, the name of their organization that they work for, or the name of their business. That is on LinkedIn. That is not always on Facebook or Instagram. And that's why I emphasize LinkedIn so much for especially small business owners.
See, we need you to talk about that because we don't know why we're on LinkedIn. We thought it was to get a job or to be legitimate. But think about that. You can network with people and know exactly what they're doing because they keep that up to date, right?
Yes. And I tell people Facebook is kind of tricky because even if you are a small business owner and you run ads, yes, your audience is on Facebook, but it's much harder to cipher through that audience because everyone is having fun on Facebook, right? Everyone has a personal page on Facebook. But on LinkedIn, once again, you know the name of their organization, the name of the business, their job title, and their professional work history.
See, you got it straight from the horse's mouth right here. So her talk was, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And I think I've been back to LinkedIn once. I really needed you to say that one more time.
Okay. Have you added video to LinkedIn? Because that was the second thing I was putting emphasis on during my talk.
Actually, my business partner, Russ Johns, who you can see in the corner over there, he does video, but he's having an issue with LinkedIn turning the video upside down. And they said that they're working on it. Their tech team is working on it. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think he does live video there. And it was upside down. But anyway, I'm sure they have it figured out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into some marketing that we could do, say, on LinkedIn or other things that are working for business owners right now. What have you done in the past that you just stopped doing? And then let's talk about what's really working now.
Oh my God. One thing I stopped doing was webinars. Right?
Oh, I was just thinking about that the
I
other
stopped
day.
doing webinars, and I do have to say this: you have to be patient with yourself anytime you try something new. But as we mentioned earlier, with marketing nowadays, there's just so many moving pieces. And when I actually hired, as a marketer, I hired another consultant to set up my email sequence, landing page, all of this stuff for the webinar. And I replayed the webinar a couple of times, but I wasn't able to convert. And I, with so much software and technology behind having a webinar and everything that comes along with that, and I wasn't able to get any clients from that webinar, I actually just scratched it, right? So I'm really big, a strong advocate when it comes to not just revenue, but the cash flow. And at the end of the day, I didn't get a return on my investment. So I stopped doing webinars.
And how long did it take you before you finally said, that's enough of that?
It was about 3 to 6 months. I also tell myself this and clients. Anytime you start something new, you probably want to give yourself about a 2 to 3 month leeway, right? So whether it's email marketing, the webinar jam, whatever software you need to purchase to set up all of this stuff, try to have at least 2 to 3 months of savings or money that you can allocate to that, right? Because it's going to take some time for it to convert, to get people into your funnel, into your system. So if it costs $200, a month, kind of have about $400 to $600 set aside and review it. So once you hit month 3, if you don't have that ROI or enough people in your system to offset the cost, you may need to, minimize some of those moving pieces.
Oh, that's great. Well, all right. So what did you do as far as marketing those webinars? Did you have a strategy? Did you have a budget? Did you do paid ads? What did you do?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of popular podcasts in my opinion. So I'm listening to these gurus trying to do as much as possible based on what they're doing. I did the paid advertising. I did the videos. Of course, Facebook has had video the longest. Even a few speaking engagements here and there, just going out in the public and trying to get the word out and putting people into my funnel, whether it's face-to-face or online. Now, I did have a budget. It's probably not the biggest budget when it comes to having hundreds of leads, and then of course from that a percentage of conversions, which I think is another thing that's not stated a lot when it comes to Facebook ads. So yeah, but it's growing pains, and I'm not afraid to learn and experiment, and I just have to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And just because the webinars doesn't work, I've had so many other things that have worked.
So you dropped webinars.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick something else up, or did you start working harder on something else you already had going?
I started working harder on videos, right? So for me, videos are evergreen, right? Webinars, and for some, webinars are evergreen. Some people have replay their webinars. That wasn't my strong suit, right? But even with even with video, it's just a continuation of practice, right? I don't think I'm the best, but the more I do it, I get better. Same thing for my podcasting too. The first time I did my podcast episode, it's like, hi, my name is Michelle. I know my name. I know my name. I know how to introduce myself, but it's like my first time recording on my platform. But podcasting has worked wonders for me. Having my own platform, being a guest on other people's shows similar to this, has really increased my list building as well as my personal branding.
Fantastic. So when you say doing video, can you tell us a little bit more about what that is? Is it live video? Is it processed through, lights, camera, action type video?
Not always. I actually like doing spur of the moment videos. I was actually trying to do something here, like, hey, I'm on my way to do an interview. Those 60-second clips go a long ways. Once again, I do a lot of speaking events. I did an event a couple of weeks ago where I recorded it, spoke for about 15 minutes, and then I chop that up into 4 to 5 60-second videos, or 60 seconds or less, that I'm able to promote on Instagram,
Fantastic.
Twitter, LinkedIn, and that helps too. And even in that video, I put my social media handle, I put my website, either my personal website, or like, hey, go here to download XYZ guide. So it's a couple of different things that I play around with.
And do you do your own editing?
Yes, but I'm very basic. Very simple editing. No bells and whistles.
So no music and the entrance and the outro,
No.
all that stuff. Okay, interesting. Well, I don't think that's what people are looking for nowadays. Do you? They want content. They want to know what you're talking. You know, why they came to listen to you. That's what they want to hear. So I am addicted to YouTube. So I watch a lot of videos, and the best for me is when they just turn it on and they are live. I just love it because it's the real them, and whether they're saying and ah or it doesn't I don't care, as long as they give me good content. That's what I'm looking for.
That's why I don't edit. I'll just start over from the beginning.
Oh, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Take 2. Yeah, I love video as well. I'm just really excited about it. So how can people get a hold of you? This 15 minutes is going by so fast. I want people to be able to experience Michelle. Tell us about your website and your podcast.
Yeah, so my podcast is called Networking with Michelle, where we focus on life strategies with a little bit of entrepreneur advice. And I just interview industry leaders, entrepreneurs on their journey, and put a lot of emphasis on just relationship and collaboration. And I have an episode that comes out every week on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, pretty much right next to your podcast, right? So wherever you can find Marian's podcast, Marian and Russ's podcast, mine should be there too. And yeah, MichelleGomez.com, and that's MichelleLenGOME.com. And I just want to say one last thing. My last episode, I've received a lot of feedback, and I just did a late night recording session. I did a rant, and I just really provided some insight on the speaking journey, on building my career while I'm in the midst of it. I like to say I'm in the climb, and I just feel I'm getting to the point where my episodes are very raw and authentic, and I want to encourage you to check out my show.
Fantastic. Well, you know we will. So I'm going to slow down the spelling of her name because it looks like gnome to me, but she's not pronouncing it that way. So it's Michelle, 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 and then N as in Nancy, G as in girl, OME.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So I love the fact that the technology has come so far that we can do just like this. We can do a live show where you can see us, you know, and then we can shoot it out to places like iTunes and Google Play, so people can take us with them when they're driving in the car. They don't have to see our smiling faces. They can just listen. So if you want help with that, please let us know. We'd be happy to consult with you on how to do it yourself. So Michelle, thanks again for being here today. We look forward to collaborating.
Absolutely.
We were talking about collaborating before you guys came into the show. So think about that. Who are you going to collaborate with? Somebody that you trust, somebody that you know, somebody who has good products and services. So I know Michelle now. I've heard her speak. If you know of any speaking opportunities, she is the bomb. Okay, she's going to deliver. She's going to show up, and she's going to deliver for you and your audience. So be sure and let her know. If you have a paid speaking gig, that's even better.
Of course.
So thanks again for coming on the show, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye, Michelle.
Hey. Thank you, Michelle. Really appreciate that. Fantastic.
Hi.
Hey. Marian, that was wonderful. I wanted to come back to a couple of points that Michelle brought up. And one of the things that struck a chord with me was, because I have listened to her podcast, is that being authentic, just creating from the heart,
Creating from the heart, being authentic.
and
I love those.
and not worrying about all of the details and specifics about, oh, is the lighting perfect, or is this perfect, or is, what is going on? And I think that rings a chord with a lot of people viewing or listening in. It's like, okay, hey, this is my story, and I'm just sharing my story. If you can relate to it, great. If not, that's okay too. It's like, there's billions of people out there, and we don't need permission to actually produce results, right?
We don't need permission. That's one of the first things you taught me, Russ. You have a microphone, you have a voice. You can now speak. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need CBS, NBC, or any other channel holding the microphone up and then taking it away and saying you can't say anymore. You get to talk about whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah. And that has changed the marketing environment considerably, is because you now can create an audience that resonates with you for your products and services, your value, your gift that you're putting out into the world, right?
That's right.
So, and one of the key benefits of that is that you can actually decide who you want to attract. You can decide who you're going to have a conversation with. And one of the things that we've always believed in is, in order to do that, you have to follow up with people. You have to stay connected with people. And I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. I've been doing LinkedIn. I've been doing, video every single day on LinkedIn. And for this year, and I haven't missed a day. And it's like, okay, it's very systematic, and I'm committed to it, right?
Have they turned your videos up right?
I got to test it again. Last time I tested it, it wasn't up right side up.
Weird.
So I've been uploading versus live video.
Oh, okay, so it was just the live video that turned it upside down.
Yeah, the live video is what is
so you
not
adjusted your program.
Yeah, I've changed my program to avoid upside down man. So it's one of those things. And the other thing that I thought was really beneficial for Michelle talking about is, give yourself permission to stop doing things that are not working.
I love that. So I'll have to tell Michelle that really struck a chord. You do give yourself permission to stop doing something that's not working. Sometimes it takes too long, and it feels awful. And so if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, then you've wasted your time, you've wasted your energy. And so I love that. I want to talk to her more about how she came to that decision. Does she have a mastermind that she's working with? Did she make this decision on her own? So I think it's important. Russ and I, we've been working together for years, and we have strung things out way too long that they weren't working, and we didn't want to give up.
And here's the caveat to that. And I'll tell you why. It's like my show, the show that I'm doing, my 2-minute tips, right?
Right.
We do marketing ideas at work. And what we do with marketing ideas at work is, after this show, I will take this content and I will spread it out across the internet, and it will create a podcast for us. It will be on YouTube for us. It will be all over the internet, right?
That's right.
And so my experiment with doing this thing on 2-minute tips, it's a very short show. And the purpose is to illustrate, just like we're doing on marketing ideas that work, is that if I can do it, you can do it. Right? And it's easy. It's simple, but not easy. And there are a few things you can do. And the more I experiment and the more we understand, then the more we can help others. Right?
Exactly. That's true.
So that's, to me, it's something I enjoy. So even if it's not getting the results the business expects, I can continue to do it because it's something I want to do for myself. So there's a different mindset in, okay, if you're producing a specific result and your goal is to convert and get revenue from it, that's a different goal than I'm going to create something so I can learn and understand and become a master at it. Right?
Exactly. Well, I just absolutely love the blog post that went up this week about earning more by following up. So that really relates to all the different things that we're talking about, because it's all about relationships. So if you're talking about following up, if you're talking about doing 2-minute tips, people are getting to know you. And that's what it's all about. You want a connection with your audience, because if you don't, they're going to switch the channel to something else.
Yeah. And also, you know, we're believers, we're strong believers. And we came into 2018 and everything we've done, Marian, has been relationship based. And we just haven't really stated it that way.
You're right.
And some of the things that we've done have been too broad. They've been too, too big of an audience. And so people didn't always understand. Well, people don't always understand me anyway. And so if you think about just having a relationship, that's an easy concept to understand. And the thing that we are really explaining on our podcast and on our show and on our blogs is following up is so key to your success, because it takes a little bit of effort, and you can build systems around this and have a process that makes it easy. So you don't have to, it's not another thing you have to do. It's part of your process, right?
Yeah, and everybody has a different way of following up or connecting with their audience. I'm going to give you an example. So in this week's newsletter, we're highlighting that this is International Networking Week. February 5th through the 9th is International Networking Week. I am very happy about that. And I love
Happy International Networking.
Happy International Networking Week, Russ. I'm happy because I love people and I love connecting with people online as well as in person. So I get a taste of both, right? Because there's Alignable and there's all kinds of LinkedIn and places where you can network with other people, groups of people, different forums and things like that, but also in person. So you could meet somebody in a group, and then when you finally meet them in person, it's like, you're best friends. It's a great opportunity to connect and follow up with your audience, no matter how you feel about it. Some people don't ever want to leave their house, or they can't. They have to network online. And that happens to be our speaker here at Office in America on the 13th, Tuesday the 13th. If you're in the Houston area, make sure you come by, because we're having somebody they're driving all the way here from Dallas. I'm assuming they're not going to fly in. But anyway, I shouldn't assume that. They're coming from Dallas, and they're going to be talking about online networking. So you could start there and then expand to meet those people if you want to. I happen to like even connecting on a video chat. So I can have a really great conversation and really get to know somebody, facial expressions and everything, right? I can do a virtual hug doing online networking.
Well, how many times, Marian, have we been connected with somebody online for a long period of time and then later gone to a networking event where you meet the person in person and it's immediate, you have an immediate rapport with them. You feel like you've known them for years or, a while at least. And you don't have to go through that awkward process of like, okay, who are you? What do you do? Yeah. It's like, do we care about each other? Do I want to like you? Do you want to like me? Or, that whole process is gone because you already know who they are. You already know what they're about because you've gone through that on social media. And that's what makes the world flat, right? It's universal. And you don't have to have permission to get on and do this thing. So It's amazing to think that we're in this place in our life that we can do this. So I'm always impressed. And following up is key, because it's so easy to forget about the person you talked to last year. And I'm so guilty of it. I got a lot of people in my contacts list that it's like, oh, I see their name and I think, I haven't talked to them for so long. I just wonder what they're doing, and, a little smiley emoji online is, sometimes enough to say hi and check in, right? But it's more if you can do a little bit more. Yeah.
Building those relationships is different for everybody, and it's different for different types of businesses. Of course, if you have a restaurant, you see your audience, they come in, they experience you, but then by following up with them, you can get them back in sooner. So I love the fact that I go to my local coffee shop that actually has bagels next door, and they have a little restaurant, and they have a fishbowl there. You can drop in your business card or write your name and email on a piece of paper, put it in there, and win a breakfast or something. It just makes me feel like they care. They want me back, that kind of stuff. So I think any type of system that you can set up where you can stay in touch. You see, by collecting emails that way, you see where I'm going with that? You can now follow up with everybody, not just the person that you got in for a free breakfast or a free coffee or whatever you're giving away. Now you can send a newsletter out to all of those people. So contests, you can do contests, and you can follow up in a number of different ways.
And did you catch what Michelle said earlier when she was promoting her webinar? Is she had a landing page, she had a video, she had email set up. Imagine how complicated that is, and how we've discovered, because we've experimented long enough, how we've discovered a simpler process to go through that whole thing. So, one of the things that I want to leave with is following up is key. And we've created really amazing, I think it's an amazing system. And it seems to, it actually works. It actually works because we're eating our own dog food, and follow-up leads is a process where you can actually add it to your business, and you can follow up without the hassle of technology. And it gives you the opportunity to have video, email follow-up, and you can actually make phone calls and actually follow up with live bodies when they're responding to your messages. So it's amazing process that we're living in. And don't be afraid. Fear is one of the things that stops us from following up, I think. And don't be afraid, because you never know who your next best friend is going to be, right?
Let me tell you why I have found out. I'm not a psychologist, but I have found out why people will make excuses about why they are not following up with people.
Why is that, Marian?
Well, if you've ever gotten a phone call or an email that says, hey, it was nice to meet you yesterday, now buy my stuff.
Right.
No one wants to get that, and so no one wants to give the impression that that's what they're going to do.
Right.
So they get fearful. Now, they might not ever admit that. They might not even know it. That's what's happening. But they'll make excuses, and they'll put the business cards in a box or a bag or a drawer, and they won't do it. They'll make excuses why they're not going to follow up, because they don't want to seem pushy.
Yeah.
So that's, in my opinion, that's why people make excuses not to do it.
And when we say follow up, we're not talking about buy my stuff follow up. We're talking about actually being authentic in your messaging, actually providing maybe some value or some encouragement or some benefit. Because if I'm reaching out to a friend and I'm just saying, hey, how are you? How are you? Right? It's like, are you doing all right? You checking in? How's the family? There's different ways that you can actually message without being obnoxious. And we've talked about it in many of our blog posts. Go back in our blog posts at agency258.com/blog.
Yeah, or if you need help figuring that out,
Yeah.
I am an onboarding specialist, and I want to help you figure out what your call to action is, so you don't seem pushy, so that you don't come across as that salesperson. This was a fantastic day. Thank you, Russ, for being here with me.
Yes.
This is Marketing Ideas at Work. We're here every single Tuesday at 11 o'clock Central Time. What time in Arizona?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock in sunny Arizona.
All right. See, we're still cold here in Houston, by the way. Can you believe it?
No, not here. Not
I
here.
know, I know.
It's
Rub it in.
toasty warm.
But in the summertime, I'll be going, oh, it's only 90 here. And you'll be saying,
It's 120.
it's 120 in the shade.
Well, this has been wonderful, Marian.
Yeah,
And thank you, Michelle, for being here. And as we wrap up another show and episode, look for us on YouTube, on all podcasting stations, on our website. And until next time, I'm Russ Johns.
I'm Marian LaSalle.
And this is Marketing Ideas That Work. And you enjoy your day.
Bye.